Hello and welcome, my beautiful, vibrant souls, to this week's Astrocast. As you can see, we're doing things a little bit differently. My normal camera setup is not functioning properly, but I felt the message that came out was very, very important, so I wanted to share regardless. So instead of doing a normal video format, I did take a picture of the, because I did this reading, and then I kept having a bunch of issues with the video, like getting corrupted or slightly deleted or anything like that. Mercury retrograde, am I right? But I felt like the message that came out was really important, so I decided to just say, fuck it, and take a picture of what was already cast on the board, and we're going to talk about it. So I apologize that you don't get to see it like super duper up close. But that being said, so hello and welcome to all of my sweet, lovely, vibrant souls, both those who have been with us for a minute and those who are new. So I'm going to briefly explain astrocasting for those of you who are unaware. As you can see, I have a circular board in front of me. Well, we all have one now. We're all looking at the same thing. But there is a circular board, excuse me, that represents the wheel of the zodiac with houses 1 through 12. Now, I do want to say that when I do astrocasting, I think about it with, what houses kind of correspond with which areas of life, but it is important to keep in mind that what we see in any given time frame will be impacted by your personal astrology, meaning your own house placements as well as your planetary placements. If you are interested in an astrocast for yourself, please feel free to DM me. I'm happy to do custom readings. It's not currently offered in my shop, but again, I'm happy to do custom readings, and if I get enough requests or like people comment on these videos and they like it, I am definitely open to adding it as a permanent fixture. But yes, so this is how I usually do this. And then normally what happens, I reach into this lovely little cute little jar that you see in the top right hand corner, and then I blindly reach in, I pull out teeny tiny little tarot cards and I cast them on the board. And this will kind of let me know what's happening in different areas of life for this week, and this is what we talk about. So this is the week ahead. This is covering the time frame of January 31st, 2022 through February 6th. All right, you guys ready? Let's try it again. Through February 6th. My God. 2022. This Mercury retrograde, you guys. Like, kicking my ass up and down the street. All right. We're good. We got this. Yeah. Let's do it. Yes. So we have a lot to talk about today. Oh, excuse my cough, guys. Sorry. I'm just going to briefly go over the cards that we have. So right smack dab in the middle, bordering houses 12, 1, and 2, is the 8 of Cups. I mentioned this before when I originally recorded this reading, but normally, unless a card is very clearly upside down in a particular house, so it's reversed in a particular house very, very clearly, I won't necessarily read it as reversed unless it's very, very clear. So like the 8 of Cups, I'm reading as the 8 of Cups upright because it came out sideways. But as you can see here, this is how everything fell. Y'all have, this week, we all have collectively a lot of reversals going on. So let's talk about it. So yes, bordering houses 12, 1, and 2, 8 of Cups. Bordering the 12th in the first house, we have the Fool reversed. Bordering the 10th and 11th house, we have the Death card reversed. In the 9th house, we have the King of Pentacles reversed. In the 4th house, we have the Temperance card reversed and the Hermit reversed. So this is a big week. Of these 6 cards, 4 are major arcana and 1 is a court card. Lots of stuff happening. We have Scorpio represented with the Death card. The Fool, to me, I always think about it as Aries energy, but it's also very Aquarian in its own right, so I'll give you both. Temperance is Sagittarian energy, the Hermit is Virgo energy, and the King of Pentacles can represent a masculine earth sign energy, so that would be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. So the biggest thing I'm seeing this week is, so I'm reading this as the Death card, the Fool, and the 8 of Cups, and the King of Pentacles are kind of all in the same ballpark, whereas I feel like the Hermit and the the winged ones, the temperance, there we go, are kind of a little bit of a separate thing going on. So these can be interrelated for you. Obviously, it's going to be different because this is a general reading. So kind of, apply it as you see fit. We'll talk more about it as we get into it. And the King of Pentacles, I feel, can go either way. So I will incorporate him into both things that I'm interpreting and seeing here. So the first thing to really talk about here is the Death card bordering the 10th and 11th house. The Death card always represents a major transformation, and this is something that you've really been working up to for a long time, right? Unlike the Tower card where it's, the rug's ripped out from under you. I always say the Tower card is like the universe comes over and just dumps your purse upside down all over the floor, and now you're like trying to gather up the contents of your entire life. It's tough. But the Death card is a much more organic change. It's a natural change. It's something that whether you're aware of it or not, you've been building up to for a while. And so since this is between your 10th and 11th house, in the story of the Wheel of the Zodiac, right, we start with house 1 and we go all the way counterclockwise till we get to, house 10. And the houses 1 through 10 are really a process of self-exploration and then exploration of the outside world, right? And it's, it's a journey that we're on to understand ourselves and where we fit into the world, and understand the people we encounter and what everything all means. And it's a lot. If you've ever gotten a natal chart reading with me, you know that there's a lot to it. If you haven't, and you want to know, just be warned. You put the microphone in my hands. It's unlimited cosmic power. Itty bitty living space. God, I've never understood that more than I do right now. Okay, anyway. So this, by the time you get to the 10th house, this is all about your legacy, your public persona, how groups of people know you. It can be about your career. But this is essentially a big part of how you leave your mark on the world. Whether this is something you do, for work, or this is something intentional or not, this is how people know you, right? This is how people, large groups of people see you. This is what the public sees of you. And it's what you've built for yourself as well, right? It's the kind of, like I said, it's the legacy you want to leave behind. It's how, when you look back at the story of your life, it's the archetype that you want to have, right? It's the archetype you want to be, and it's the storylines you want to create. Anyway, my abstract ramblings aside. So what I'm feeling here, especially with the King of Pentacles reversed in the 9th house, is this is very likely about career. But if not, this is just something that's very meaningful to you, very significant, very grounding for you. But this is something that you've sunk a lot of time into, a lot. The King and Queen of Pentacles rule their empire, which is the 10 of Pentacles. That shit does not pop up overnight. So with the King of Pentacles reversed in the 9th house, the 9th house is all about our understanding and like our learning process, and where it's opposite from the 3rd house, right, which is, very intellectualized, things you can read in a book, things you can observe, things you can, tangibly go out and touch and see, right? It's all about the grounded the understanding of the grounded world around us, and the world we live in. The 9th house is much more about our spiritual, moral, philosophical understanding, and it's very abstract knowledge. It's also very experiential knowledge. So it's not about, reading all about it and then, synthesizing the information you have to decide what to do or to make a plan or something like that. It's about kind of just like going out there in the world and having an experience and learning through that experience. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Winter air is irritating my asthma super badly, so trying to keep from coughing in your ear. But this is something where, so what I'm almost getting with this King of Pentacles reversed in the 9th house vibe, this kind of feels a little bit like a Hanged Man energy, which makes total sense because the Hanged Man, oof, excuse my burp. The Hanged Man precedes the Death card in the tarot. Is that I feel like this is an area of your life where you've really built something for yourself. You've really kind of, left your stamp on something. And I feel like with the King of Pentacles, this is because you've you've really taken the time to learn whatever this is. Whatever this thing is in your life, this could be a relationship you've invested a lot in. This could be, a career path where you have, that's what you got your degree in and you've spent a lot of time with it. You've really sunk a lot into this. And I feel like this has also provided you some sense of security. So whether you get like social approval or validation, or this is, financial security, this is something where you've really invested in it. You've really put a lot on this. You've devoted yourself to it. But you know that you need a change with the Death card reversed. This is when we kind of go from the 10th to the 11th house in the story of the zodiac. If anybody has ever kind of tried to start to learn astrology and you're like learning all the kind of cheat sheet words for each house, to kind of get like a basic understanding, it kind of looks weird when you think about it, right? Because you're like, there are some houses, yep, they make sense. The 7th house, house of partnerships, balance, like the legal system, all of that relates to Libra shit, and it makes sense. But then you have some houses, it's pretty much like a junk drawer, and the 11th house kind of seems like it's one of those. We're like, all right, I don't know what we're doing here, but it's, wishes coming true. It's friendship. It's, communal living and futurism and like, futuristic stuff and, technology and like, humanitarianism. I can't remember if I already said that one or not. Sorry, guys. It seems like all this shit is not related at all. But the thing with, the story of the Wheel of the Zodiac, which I really like this way of approaching astrology. So if you're like me, and you have an interest in that, there's a really great book. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm going to put the name of the book in the description box because I can't remember it right now. I'm terrible about this, you guys. But this one particular astrologer, I was reading one of her books, and the way she describes it makes total sense to me. Anyway, I digress. We get to the 11th house, and this is really about expanding beyond past what we've made, right? Excuse me. We've done everything we can kind of do in this cycle up through the 10th house. And it's where we're standing back and we admire what we're looking at, right? Especially with that King of Pentacles. Like, you're at the top when it comes to this. You have learned as much as you can. You might be in a position of authority, like a management position, a teaching role, a mentor. You might be, again, very established, very grounded in whatever this is. And people, I feel like, look up to you, right? So, like, even if this were, say, a relationship, this is something where maybe you and your partner have been together for a while and people admire your relationship, or, you've been living in the same house for a while and, you're a part of the community and people know you and you have, you have an identity there. And it's like something where you're respected and you're appreciated and you're valued. And I feel like you're ready for more. Intuitively, I think that you need to make a change, and that it's time to grow and expand. But with that Hanged Man energy, the Hangman's often associated with some type of sacrifice that needs to be made. And I don't ever like that kind of like idea of sacrifice. I think it's an exchange with spirit more than anything else, right? Like, you're handing over something to get something better, and that's more in alignment with you. And we see this with the 8 of Cups spanning the 12th, 1st, and 2nd house, right? 12th house, last house of the zodiac, wrap-ups, 1st house, house of the self. These are gross oversimplifications, but for brevity's sake, and the 12th to the 1st to me is always an energy of rebirth. So because the 8 of Cups is spanning the 12th, 1st, and 2nd, the 2nd house not only really talks about career, your material, like the house you live in, because there's a difference between house and home. 4th house is more home to me, but 2nd house is house. Excuse me. This is also talking about your material possessions, but it's anything that you really value, and it's anything that you find security in. So I feel like whatever this is, with the 8 of Cups that this is not really doing much for you anymore, right? The 8 of Cups is when we've really invested a lot in something and we know it's not cutting the mustard, right? It's not really making us happy. It's not helping us. It's not helping others. It's not serving us. We're not growing. It's really stagnant energy. And I think that this, you've been spending some time thinking about this. Maybe you're with the King of Pentacles reversed in the 9th house. Maybe you're kind of becoming aware of this, but you're sort of just barely starting to explore this. And I feel like the fear here is because with the 8 of Cups here, I feel like you're walking away. This sounds like a sunken cost fallacy kind of a feeling. It would require you walk away from everything that you've built. And I kind of get this energy that that you would have to do something totally different, right? Again, 10th to the 11th house, you have to expand past what you know how to do, what you've already done, what you've built, right? And this is why the 11th house can also talk about like friends too, and community, and because, you know, to have a new experience, to get something that we've never gotten, we have to be prepared to do something we've never done. And a lot of the times this requires people coming into our lives to help assist us in that process, right? And so I kind of feel like this is a big shift for you, where your role and your identity is going to need to go through a transformation, right? So let's say if this is work related, maybe you're switching careers entirely, or you're going, you know, you've been with the same company forever and you're going to a new company, or you're contemplating that. Maybe this is something where you're used to working, you know, by yourself, and now you need to collaborate with others. Or, you know, even if you are being offered a management position and you're like, this is going to change my role here, this is going to change what I built. So maybe you're concerned about like the relationships you have with your coworkers. There's a shift to your identity, something that you've really spent a lot of time in. And I don't think it's a bad thing, right? You know, the 8 of Cups can speak to something that, you know, we hold on to out of like fear or obligation or guilt. I don't think it's that kind of situation at all. I feel like this has just served its purpose, and it's not really bringing you anything new in terms of your fulfillment at a personal and spiritual level. Excuse me. And I think you know this. So we have the Fool bordering the 12th and the 1st house, right? There is this rebirth that is right there for the taking. Or soon will be. It'll be offered to you. This is on the horizon. I feel many of you can feel this coming, or you already are aware of it, or you're seeing the potential. But the Fool is really interesting because, like, I think the Fool's always about a brand new beginning, right? Totally new soul cycle. You know, you're trusting in the universe. You're following your intuition. You're taking that leap of faith. Because you trust the universe, you trust yourself. So when it's reversed, it implies that there's a lot of hesitation. There's reticence to go after this thing, right? And especially because I'm really being drawn right now to the mountains in the background. It's like, yes, the Fool is like, yes, there will be challenges, but there's also so much ahead of you. It's the beautiful cacophony of emotions and the ups and the downs that is the human experience, right? And I love that about the Fool, is that the Fool's not afraid to just take that shit on and be like, yeah, give it to me. Got it. All right. But because I'm focusing on the mountains right now, I feel like a lot of you guys are thinking about the obstacles, right? And I kind of get, like I said, this energy where it's like you're going to have to occupy a new role, and you might kind of feel out of your element, or almost feel like you're going back to, like, you know, the page stage again, right? Where you kind of have to like be in a beginner's mindset. And I feel like that is because the Fool is very much like that too. The Fool is very like childlike energy. And I feel like there is this desire to take this leap of faith. There's this desire for something different, but there's this fear of needing to start over again, or this fear of what, you know, maybe like, because again, with the 8 of Cups touching the 2nd house, there's like this, you know, maybe there'll be insecurity, whether that's material or, you know, insecurity within yourself, right? There's something here as well where shifting this role might cause you to question your own self-value with it, you know, that nod to the 2nd house here. But what Spirit kind of wants to emphasize, and what you might be contemplating over the next week, I always say this with like, when you're in hermit mode, whether you choose to be like that or not. So again, very Hanged Man energy, because the Hanged Man is more like, hermit mode is like you're taking this time, oof, excuse me, this time for self-reflection, willingly. And the Hanged Man's like, Spirit's kind of making that happen. So if people aren't texting you back this week, or, you know, plans fall through, take this as a loving opportunity given to you by Spirit to really be contemplating the next steps in your life, because I feel like the time to take action on this, or the offer coming forth that you're looking for is close at hand, and Spirit wants to give you, I'm hearing a couple weeks. So like I'm hearing 3 weeks particularly for some of you. Like this thing is like 3 weeks away, and Spirit wants to give you plenty of time to contemplate what it is that you want. Perhaps this was an offer that was made 3 weeks ago, but something about 3 weeks is important here for someone. But yeah, so like the thing with the Fool is that, yeah, there are mountains in the background, right? But there's also a lot of sunshine. There's a lot of happiness. There's a lot to be uncovered and discovered and treasured. And I feel like for some of you, it's really important to know that you wouldn't be given this opportunity if you weren't ready for it, or if it didn't have something to offer you, right? And we all have free will. We all get to make our own decisions at the end of the day. And that it's okay to start over if something's not really like if something's not adding to your life and it's just draining you, like it's okay to start over. It's okay to go back to being a page, right? Life is a continual process of switching between teacher and student roles, right? And maybe this is why we kind of have it on the 11th house, because somebody's going to come in and help you, right? Help teach you something, or, maybe learn from you. Maybe you're taking up this sort of like more management, King of Pentacles kind of role, this leadership role, and you're going to help other people. You have something to offer, and others have things to offer you, and you'll know which situation applies to you more. And it's going to be different for everybody because this is a general reading, but like there is this opportunity coming. If you've been thinking about kind of taking a leap of faith in a certain direction, this is a very positive omen. But there is something where I feel like you're going to be coming to some kind of conclusion about it with the 8 of Cups this week. And I feel for many of you, you're going to be getting in alignment for this thing. Many of you are going to be kind of like getting like, it's this energy of like, all right, I'm going to do it. Let me get my shit together. Let me get my ducks in a row. So maybe that's why Spirit wants to bring it to your attention a couple weeks early. So you're ready to go. Then we have this other thing happening in the 4th house. So we have, like I said, Virgo energy with the Hermit, and we have Sagittarius energy with Temperance. Now, both of these are very spiritual cards as well, even though Virgo and Sagittarius are kind of like different vibes. So the 4th house is the house of, family, home, but it's our emotional foundations, right? Oof, excuse my burp. So I do feel like this is about a really significant relationship to you. This is either somebody who's, in your family, somebody you live with, or somebody that has really contributed to your emotional foundations in a big way. Like they're really a part of how you, I don't want to say how you process your feelings. What is this? It's like they're really a part of your foundational emotional experience, right? So this could be like if you live with a partner or something like that. Or, this could be somebody where it's a childhood friend that you spent a lot of time at each other's houses or things like that. With King of Pentacles in the 9th house reversed, this person could be an earth sign, again, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But this is a very spiritual connection with this person. But the thing is that I kind of feel like you guys do pal around spiritually. You have a lot of things that you connect over, that you find a lot of joy over, that you get really enthusiastic about. Maybe you have a lot of shared hobbies with this person, or you have the same belief system, or you used to have the same belief system, but now that's kind of shifting and changing. You guys have shared a really significant connection, and you've taught each other a lot. But what I kind of feel like is happening is that I feel like you guys are really opposites in some way. Because Temperance is all about this balance and this blending of opposites to create, it's this alchemy. You're creating magic. But the key to doing so successfully is that not one overpowers the other. And I kind of get the feeling for this connection, one of you is very, very bold, and very, very out there in some ways. Like maybe it's this energy of somebody who just is like living life to the fullest, and they kind of don't, by their own estimations, and they kind of don't really think about the impact of their actions, particularly their words. I feel like this person has no filter, which can be really fun. And so like when they say nice things, like this person is, amiable. They can be really fun to be around. They can be really kind, really considerate, really complimentary. But at the same time, if there's something they don't like about you or something that they don't want to do, they're just going to outright say it to you, or they're just going to do what they want to do. And I think that's the problem, is their energy is very self-focused in a lot of ways. And I feel like the other person tends to be more reserved, tends to be very, very considerate of how their actions impact others, tends to be really loyal, right? And like really consistent, at least in how they show up for other people emotionally. Like they're very, very consistent, because I'm really drawn. They're like making me look at the number 4 right now. And I think when you guys are in good harmony, good balance, you guys can really help each other grow. But I feel for many of you, there's been a situation where there's some type of rupture here. And I feel like you've been trying to figure out if you can do the repair, right? So, sorry, I looked at the clock. It's 11:11. So make a wish, guys. Ready? Make a wish with me. Okay. You got yours? Because I got mine, I think. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got mine. All right, so yay. That was fun. I'm glad we did that together. But this is something where I feel like there is a rupture, and you're kind of thinking about how to repair the relationship. And I feel like this comes from, I feel like the other person said something, and it wasn't intended to be malicious. I just don't think that they really were thinking about the impact of their words. But I think the reason why it was very, very difficult or shocking or tumultuous or really painful is just because like you guys have known each other so long, or you've been so interwoven in each other's lives in some way, shape, or form, that it's kind of like, yeah, I know we're different, but I thought you would know me well enough not to have done that thing or said that thing, right? It's like I feel like you kind of like, you let this person, like you're usually pretty relaxed about this person's antics, and it kind of has this energy of like, I deal with all the other stuff that you do, but you should know this about me, that that's not an okay thing to do or to say, especially something that was said, I'm feeling, for a lot of you. It's like, you should know that about me, that was not going to go over well. And so I feel like this has this energy of like the straw that broke the camel's back a little bit, because I feel like this person has a long history of kind of not really pausing to think about their actions sometimes, and unintentionally kind of not really contemplating how what they say and do impacts other people. And it's not personal. Like, it's not like they're just like it's not like it's about you where they're like, haha, screw them. It's just, it's how they live. It's their way. And, that can be charming in some ways. This person's very unfiltered, but I think this person took something a bridge too far. And I feel like you've been thinking about this for a while. And now is like the time where, like, again, I like the time frame of like a couple weeks is coming through super strong. So I feel like maybe this happened like 3 weeks ago. Sorry, guys. Or you've been like, that you heard from this person a few weeks ago, or you're gonna hear from this person in a few weeks. But I feel like you've taken some time alone with the Hermit to really think about if you can make this connection work. And I kind of feel like for a lot of you, you're gonna sort of decide that to like put up some big boundaries or walk away from this person with that 8 of Cups. Or you're gonna, this is like shit or get off the pot kind of thing. This is gonna be like, you confront them and be like, hey, you can't treat me like this anymore. And they're gonna, if that's the case, I do feel like for some of you, they're gonna really understand that you're not screwing around. I don't know if they'll fully understand the impact of their actions, but they will be able to tell that you're not messing around. So the question is if they can make, a sustainable change, in order to maintain their relationship. And I'll leave that to you guys, trust and heed your own intuition above that of all others, including myself. But for some of you, this person is going to, like, if you present them a very direct, because I feel like this person, you need to really like break it down for them. Like, like no mincing words is kind of what I'm getting here. So if you provide them a very direct kind of sort of play-by-play of the experience from your own perspective, like, hey, you did this, you said this, and this was not okay, and this is why, and if you want to be able to continue this, like, you know, this friendship, this relationship, like, if you want to be able to continue to relate to each other in the way that we have to set up some ground rules, because this can't keep happening. This isn't okay. Like, I can learn to live with this other stuff, but this one's not all right. Or you're going to be cutting this person loose or putting up some big time boundaries. So like, let's say, you know, this person is somebody that you live with, and you know, you don't really have control over the situation or what they do. It's like you're setting up some type of boundary with them, because again, I feel like they took it a bridge too far. And it was like the last straw. But either way, with that 8 of Cups, you're really closing out this cycle of what's not serving you emotionally, where I feel like you're, you know, either cutting out relationships that aren't healthy for you, that aren't helping to bring you into balance, or you're leaving behind any patterns that might have to do with like sacrificing your own needs, you know, people pleasing, anything like that, right? Either way, something that has been not helpful to you emotionally and spiritually is going out the door. It's coming to an end. And this is a very natural transition for you. This is something that you're like, all right, I'm ready. So yeah, I think that's just about everything I'm seeing for this week, you guys. If you are interested, like I said, in this reading for yourself, feel free to check out my shop and DM me. I'm happy to do custom readings. I know this one was a little bit longer than usual, but it happens how it happens. And I'm sorry that this isn't the normal video format, but I'm kind of glad we got a little bit of extra time to chat, because I think this is important. I'm wishing you guys the best, the brightest, and the most beautiful things that life has to offer. Take care, love bugs, and I'll see you soon, okay? All right, bye.